Hey, everybody, welcome to Unscripted for Thursday, October 8th. My name's Pastor Chris. With me, as always, the knowledgeable, the sensitive, the great comforter, Matt Wallace. Matt?
That's a great introduction. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you. We'll wait a couple minutes for people to join on and log on with us.
This is join in, yeah. Yeah, so in the meantime, my mower died again. I was mowing the other day. I have a riding mower. It's an old Scott's by John Deere riding mower, and I was out mowing, and suddenly white smoke started pouring out of it, and then it died.
That's usually a good sign, actually.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's a sign it's running well.
Yeah.
And so it started right back up, but then died again. And so I borrowed my neighbor's mower, which I'm probably going to have to do again this week. So to give me time to take mine apart, I think I blew some kind of seal or gasket or something. Fun fact, it's also leaking gas now. So whatever happened, it's now leaking gas. So yeah, this is my my mower that we're talking about. Just got a text. What are you talking about? My mower. Yeah, my Scott's by John Deere riding mower. Right. And so I think I can fix it though. You know, I've been getting into working on things, and I've been collecting tools and all that. I think I can do it. Just might take me a while.
Expect a YouTube video. Expect a YouTube video.
Yeah, that's right. You guys know I have a tool demo and review channel on YouTube.
Oh, yes. Oh, I know. I get an update every time you post one about another tool. Pastor Matt, it says Judo Sailor has a new video on the hammer drill or something. And I giggle because I know this is your ploy to get free tools. So that's
yes, it is. And it's working. I've gotten several so far.
I mean, congratulations. That's working pretty well.
Yeah, I do have 70 subscribers so far, and I have a 100 subscriber giveaway planned. So if you subscribe to my channel, Judo Sailor, and I get 100 subscribers, you could win a prize.
What's going to be the big 100 subscriber giveaway? I heard it was $12,000.
It is not $12,000 at all. No. But it is something kind of cool. If you work on cars or whatever, it's a little OBD2 scan tool. You know, the thing you plug it in to your car, and it'll tell you if you have any like diagnostic codes, trouble codes, things like that of what's going on with your car. So,
right. So as we get into the part where our kids are driving now, we'll definitely be declining in terms of how good of a car we're driving. Probably.
Yeah.
I was again shocked at the insurance rates.
Good lordy. And the thing they don't tell you is it's not just...
Oh, look at that.
Yep. Sorry. Someone's trying... Hang on us. Speaking of, oh my goodness. Speaking of daughters, mine is trying to get gas right now and is calling me. So...
Dude, can you take it and we can listen to it on Unscripted?
I am going to step away for a moment and take it. So it's your show for a minute, Pastor.
So wait a second. Just please put it on speakerphone so we can hear the whole
thing. No, not going to do
what? I want to see I want to see what kind of parent you are. Come on. Oh man. That actually happened to me the other day when my daughter, she went in her car. Our kids are the same age. They just turned 16. And my daughter was going to get her first tank of gas. And it did not go very well for her. So I imagine that this phone call is pretty much the same phone call that I just received about 3 weeks ago. Apparently, you don't have to. They should make them do that. You know, in the driver's ed class, they should make them like pull into a gas station and have to fill up a tank of gas. I think because my daughter can parallel park, she can do all that stuff, but still, when it comes to getting gas, she's not a fan. not a fan of that. And
Do
unfortunately,
they still have that driver's ed class in high school? I don't know.
who is this?
I wonder if they do.
No, they do. And my daughter had to take one, not through her high school, but she had to take a class. I mean, she took a class with somebody, and they cover all that stuff like backing up. But the one thing that I didn't do, I guess I didn't do a good job of it, was teaching her how to like pull in and get gas. It can be really tense if there's like, 3 cars at the gas station and there's only one. I forget that can be a stressful thing.
It's a life skill.
It is a life skill. It is a life skill. I mean,
and I don't think that any female should pump gas. So whenever Kelly gets low on gas, I'm always the one to take her car. Now, maybe that's not so the reason. That's not. I don't necessarily believe that, but that just happens to be the case. But she's gotten her gas plenty of times. But yeah, especially when you're dealing with like a small gas station and the only the only thing that's open is the middle one, and you have to like well, how am I going to get in there? Do I wait or do I try to parallel park in the gas station?
So, and I think we had this conversation before, but I'm the kind of guy, I get gas when my fuel light is blinking. My wife gets gas when the tank gets to half. Like a half a tank of gas for my wife is like empty.
Might as well be empty.
And not me. Like I have literally seen 0 miles till empty and pulled into the 7-Eleven. So my daughter always wants to obviously take my wife's car because it's always got gas in it.
Have you ever run out of gas?
I have never run out of gas in my entire life, but I have been as close to running out of gas as you possibly can. What about you?
Oh yeah, for sure. Actually, it was on 1792 in like Maitland Winter Park area, and right near Lake Maitland.
Can you turn on your camera, or are you not ready? Camera ready?
I guess I'm camera ready. I'm. Yeah, okay, there we go.
Look at you. You look great. Okay.
So
Chris Kuchar, everyone. Chris.
Hey
Kuchar.
everybody. So yeah, I was on 1792 and driving, and I was in my old Honda that I had. And I
whoa.
Who's this guy?
Chris is telling us about when he ran out of gas.
Yeah, this is good. And so I'm literally in like the far left lane, like because I'm in the fast lane because that's what I do. I go fast, and so
that's right.
And all of a sudden, I go under there's an overpass, the Maitland Boulevard overpass or something when I was here on 1792, and so all of a sudden I am not going anymore. I just kind of coast, and luckily I look to my right, and there's like the gas station, and so I'm getting out pushing, and I'm like, this is my first car I ever had, and I'm probably, I don't know, 17 years old maybe, I don't know, and so some people helped me get in there. I put in like the $2 of gas that I had in my pocket at the time, and that's pretty much all I had. Because that's what you do when you're young. You only put in what you have in your pocket.
That's right.
And so I'm like,
there's no credit cards back then when you're 17.
I got $2 worth of gas.
Right.
And then I was able to make it home to where I was.
That's what you do when you're a street cat. You know, you're a street cat. You're living on the streets. You got $2 and change in 1792. Back, you're scraping away. You're fighting to live. You're 17.
That's right. That's exactly right. Living at your parents' house.
Let's go back.
Okay, get back to it.
Let's go back to this. Well, you don't have to disappear. All right. Jeez. All right.
He's got things to do, man.
I do. I got things to do.
I was telling everybody that I got almost the exact same. I don't know, but I got a phone call 3 weeks ago. My daughter pulls into a place. She has to get gas. She panics because there's a lot of cars at the gas station. And I realized I didn't really do a great job about teaching her how to operate. And I did all the stuff you're supposed to do, back up, parallel park, but I didn't really talk much about.
You can go over the etiquette of waiting for a gas pump to open up.
That's exactly right. And she panicked and she just brought the car home, and was like, I couldn't do it. I'm like, well, we're going to have to learn this skill, at some point. Yeah. So what happened?
So, geez. So I call her back and no answer.
Uh-oh.
And I call her back and no answer. 3 or 4 times I call her, no answer. And so then I text her and I'm like, I'm a little, you know what I mean? Like a little irritated. I'm like, you interrupted me during Unscripted and now you're not answering your phone. I'm like, you better answer your phone.
Right.
So I send her that text and then I call her again and she picks up and I'm like, what is it? I was like, you're interrupting me. And she's like, never mind.
Okay. I guess she's leaving their phone and the car. That's all
I think, I don't know what happened. When this is all over and I have more time to talk to her, I'll ask. I'm sure there was something that at first she couldn't figure out or whatever. And so she was trying to call me to ask.
Does your Jeep have a gas latch on it? Like on the side?
No, it's nothing like, I'm sure it's probably something with working the pump, actually, making your payment and all that. Yeah. And so I'm sure it was something like that. And then in the interim of when I didn't pick up because I was here and then trying to call her back, she figured it out. Oh, I pressed this button, whatever it was. And then so it was not an emergency.
Wait, isn't she supposed to be at school right now?
Yeah, they had like a half day or something like that for teacher's work stuff. Yeah.
Gotcha. So. All right. Well, we got that figured out. McKenna's in big trouble. I'm just kidding.
She's not, but I am irritated though. Like I told her what I was doing Unscripted. She obviously doesn't know how important this is.
That's right.
How many people? This is the highlight of their day.
So just put in the comment section what you would do if you were Matt. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, that's right. I will probably just let it go. Although I do want to know what the heck she was calling about in the first place. I didn't want to take the time to figure that out when you guys were waiting on me, but
that's fair. All right. So it is 1:42. We've been instructed today that Mr. Kuchar is on a very tight schedule, and we can't have all this tomfoolery without some kind of seriousness. So we're going to try something today that we've never tried, and it's probably a very bad idea.
Probably. It was my idea, though, but
it is something that America is talking about, and we have been talking about as well. And so maybe you want to bring it up, Matt, and I'll try to.
So that is kind of on the specific side, the presidential and vice presidential debates that they've recently had, and just in a broader sense, the whole kind of election season, but in particular, the debates. I was going to say, and also the fly that was the star of the vice presidential debate.
I have never, ever seen a fly sit there for so long. That was miraculous how long that fly. And now I completely forgot what I watched all the debates, and I'm sitting there and my wife goes, "What is that?"
I texted you. I was like, "Oh, that's unfortunate."
And so we're watching it, and I almost started timing the fly because I'm wondering.
It was there a long time.
Yeah,
it wasn't just there for 10 seconds. It was there for a minute and a half.
And my phone starts blowing up at that point because people are like, "Are you watching this? Do you see the fly? Do you see the fly?" Like all my buddies are texting me about the fly, and okay, so it's a fly. But I was wondering, is the fly there because Mike Pence has some pretty strong hair.
Right.
I'm imagining he's using some product in that stuff.
I said he literally has Ken doll hair. It's plastic. It's a cap, and
I'm working on it, but man, that was impressive how long the fly was there. I don't know anything that they said during the fly time.
Yeah.
I was so focused. Jerry says it was the hair gel. I imagine so. But then the fly escaped at some point.
Yeah, and then never made a reappearance,
Right. Yeah. Oh my goodness. So that was hilarious. And it was also brought out because Mike's hair is so white.
Right. You couldn't not see it,
Oh man. So anyway, but
yeah.
But we're talking, you know, like I had posted something on Facebook today, and I want to read it real quick, if you don't mind. I did not.
Oh yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. It's good.
I did not. I did not create this, but I love this sentiment. Actually, Jeff Anderson posted this, and I don't know. I wish I could give credit to them because I've thought about this over and over and over again. And this person, this anonymous person, said, "After the elections are over, your neighbors will still be your neighbors. Trump won't be there to ring up your groceries. Your neighbors will. Biden won't be there to fix your car or help you out with your yard work. Your neighbors will. Both Trump and Biden will still be in their wealthy political worlds and we'll be in ours. They'll be doing their own thing while you and I live together, work together, learn together, shop together, eat together, worship together, and pump our gas next to one another. We are what makes America great. We are the ones who choose to be decent, loving, caring, and compassionate human beings. Vote for whoever you choose to vote for in November, but remember, we the people choose to shape our communities, not our president." And I think, man, oh man, that really hit me this morning.
Yeah.
Because I do have this tendency, and I don't know if you're like this, I do have this tendency. I grew up in a pretty political family of people in my family ran for public office. We had Democrats, we had Republicans. It was always an interesting Thanksgiving. And the thing though, is that we were still family. Like we still came together. We still, like, there was never a time where like a family meal was ruined because of political beliefs. I mean, there were some pretty good arguments and stuff, but you know, and that's like, you know, the debates and I see all this stuff on Facebook, and I just know, I know a lot of my friends who are really political people, that if they were sitting in a room together, that they would not be having the same conversations that they're having on Facebook. It just wouldn't happen. Like people are having one conversation on Facebook, but then they present a different face when they're actually in person. And, you know, ultimately, this thing's going to be over in November, and your phone calls for the presidency and for voting will be over. You'll still get the phone calls about your car's extended warranties.
I got one of those today.
I get them all the time, man. I get them all the time. The cars, can we talk to you about your car's extended warranty? No, you can't. But, you know, eventually, and I like one thing that a long time ago, I had a long talk with Pastor Ben about this, and he said something that's always kind of stuck with me. He said, you know, I choose not to invest a lot of time and energy in the national races because I feel like the biggest difference can be made locally. When we start to serve locally, when we start to work through nonprofits, when we start to work through our church, like you can actually make an impact that you see, you know, and the bottom line is, I don't know if the vice presidential debate really moved the needle. Like, did anybody that was undecided that watched the vice presidential debate last night say, you know what, now I know who I'm going to vote for? I mean, probably not. And even in the presidential debate, I don't know if like that really moved.
Especially in the presidential debate. At least in the vice presidential debate, you got a good idea of where they stand on some of the issues. In the presidential debate,
that was really
gross, man.
Yeah, that's the best way I could say it too. Like, and it was Chris Kuchar posted Fly 2020. So Chris wants to vote for the Fly.
Let's all write in for the Fly. The real winner of the vice presidential debate, the Fly.
Fly.
I saw this one, you know, I'm always in it for the memes, Chris, if anything.
I know.
And I saw one, and it had the wide angle picture with Pence with the Fly there, and then it zoom in, and the zoom in, it was a little tiny Jeff Goldblum like laying there like this. Oh, maybe you even sent that to me, did you? Yeah, you did. That was good. I sent you the one with Mr. Miyagi with the chopsticks, like getting ready to Like
there's gonna be so many memes off of this. And
oh man, that's great. That's the only good thing really to come out of this whole situation is the memes.
So, last night I was watching that vice presidential one, and then they were announcing that they were going to do the next presidential one virtually because President Trump's got COVID.
Yeah,
and he came out he's got the COVIDs, and he came out this morning and said he wasn't going to do it virtually. That no way, because then perhaps Biden could use teleprompters and have other things. He didn't want that. Anyway.
And also there'd be a mute button you could use on Trump.
Yeah. Well, on Biden too. But like the thing is though, like maybe you shouldn't be debating a week after you're in the hospital for COVID either. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I mean, they do say, what is it? 10 once you. So I read a guideline. It was for something else. It was for a school, but that someone had tested positive for COVID, and the guideline was they had to quarantine for 10 days after their last symptom. So basically, like once the symptoms are done, then they had to go another 10 days before they were going to be allowed back. And so there may be enough time for that window to be there for Trump. I don't know. Yeah.
I think I lead the office in COVID test. I have two. I've had two completed so far, both negative. I'm shooting 100%, so that's good. But yeah, I'm done for a while. So if you have COVID, stay away from me.
Right. Yeah.
Keep your distance.
Yeah, and I'm fortunate. I have not had to get one yet.
Yeah.
Very close.
Well, so
had yours not been negative, I would have though.
Oh, you darn it. Yeah.
But
you would have been
I
going right
think, when it comes to the politics, and you and I are very careful about not sharing our personal political views. I'm really careful about it because number one, I don't see that as my job. My job is to tell people about Jesus, and sharing my political views would only hinder that, But the one thing I will say about politics that I find the most unfortunate is how we tend to demonize people on the other side, and both sides do it. You know what I mean? Both sides do it. And so it's like, and they do it, and they wouldn't do it.
My point is they wouldn't do it if they were face to face. You know what I'm saying? Like,
except I don't know. I know that's true with some people for sure, especially some of the people that we know personally. We know they're good, decent people.
Right,
and they would treat people decently. But I don't think that's necessarily true across the board. I actually do think there's a lot of people that it's this just as vitriolic in person as they are on Facebook.
But I am talking more about the people that would actually be watching this, and our people. Like, I feel like they would never have that conversation that they have done. So here's my proposal, Pastor Matt. I say you give us access to your Facebook accounts, and we delete any post that we feel is not Christ-like.
It's not Christ-like.
Yeah. Beep. No, you don't want to do that?
No, I don't think I want to do that. So,
all right.
But I mean, I remember, politics have always been contentious, and it's not new, and the big joke I'm always making is when people say, like, our country has never been more divided than it is today. And then I like to remind them, like, well, actually we once fought a bloody civil war. Like, I think we're not that divided,
Right.
Yeah. But that said, though, I will say, like, I do notice a difference, like, not when I was a kid before I paid any attention to politics, but like once I started paying attention to politics, when I was later in high school and started kind of watching and paying attention, like it was divisive, but like you didn't hate the people on the other side, but now, man, it's just so like, I'll use two examples, one from each side, the liberal person looks at a conservative person and instead of just thinking like, well, they have different views on immigration than I do, right? I don't like their views. I don't agree with their views, but they just have a different view of how best to handle immigration in the country. That's not what they think. They go, that person is a racist and he hates brown people, you know? And then like the conservative person looks at someone that's progressive and they don't say talk about abortion, you know? Someone that's really pro-life doesn't look and say like, look, I very strongly disagree. I believe, they might say like, I believe abortion is murder, but I understand that that person that is pro-choice has a different understanding of when life begins and has a different understanding of how we balance that against the life of the adult mother, Mm-hmm. They don't just look at that person like that. They say that person wants to murder babies, Well, let me tell you, you don't have a dialogue with someone that wants to murder babies, right? You don't have a dialogue with someone that wants to, that's a racist, and hates brown people, right? And so as soon as we begin to demonize the other side like that, mm-hmm. you lose any chance to come to an understanding. You lose any chance, you lose any chance to convince the other person to think about that issue in a different way. You can, and then even in the church, it's even worse, right? Because then we begin to judge what type of Christian the other person is based on those same things. And that's awful, right? We should not be bringing that into the church, and we can disagree. Like I have very strongly held positions on both those things, but I recognize that I'm still, because we're saved by faith through grace and not by our position on those issues. I recognize that at the wedding feast of the King on the last day, I'm going to be sitting at table with people that held different views from me on those issues, and we need to remind ourselves of that. And we need to start giving other people the benefit of the doubt. Even if you believe abortion is murder, that doesn't mean that everyone that's pro-choice wants to murder babies, right? Even if you believe that we should welcome refugees, that the Christian thing to do is to care for the sojourner that comes through and that should affect our immigration policy, that doesn't mean that everyone that's for strong borders is a racist, and we've got to stop characterizing each other in those terms.
Well said. Honestly. Really well said.
Except now people on both sides are gonna give it to me for that.
It's right? True. It's true. It's like when we tried to do one a long time ago. I think it might have been when you were out in Seattle or whatever, out in or where were you? Out in Washington?
Yeah, we were out in Washington, Spokane.
Yeah, you were out in Spokane, and Pastor Hoyer has had a lot of great ideas. One that wasn't so great was, hey, I think on Saturday night, we're going to change our service to a blended service where we'll have a hymn and then we'll have a contemporary song. And that way, if you're a traditional person or you're a contemporary person, you'll love it. It'll be great.
Right.
I'm like, okay.
Seems reasonable.
Everybody hated it.
Right.
It wasn't contemporary enough. It wasn't traditional enough. We thoroughly ticked off 100 people in one night. It was remarkable at what we accomplished.
Yeah. The only people that like blended services are people that like blended services. And if you like a traditional service, you're not going to like a blended service. If you like a contemporary service, you're not going to like a blended service.
That's funny. Let me grab something real quick. Are
you leaving me? I did it to you. I guess turnabout is fair play. Huh?
My computer died and I couldn't see what people were saying, so
okay.
I didn't plug it in on time.
Yeah, actually, which are you looking at? And I'll pull up the other one so I can maybe.
I'm looking at YouTube. So if you want to look at Facebook,
I'll pull up the Facebook stream then and see what comments we're getting. How many people are going to leave the church over the rant that I just had?
The over-under is 6. No, I'm just kidding. Here's the thing that I wanted to bring up, too. I had a pastor friend I went to school with, and he really was passionate about politics, right? And he wanted to jump on Facebook. He also had some issues with some politicians. So he wanted to jump on Facebook and he contacted me, and he like had his post that he was going to post. And I mean, it was just really attacking one party, and I said to him, so what are you called to do? Like, what are you called to do? You got to spread the gospel and baptize people. I'm like, this post isn't going to help you do either one of those things.
Right.
Like, it's just not. And we get wrapped up in stuff, and that's okay. But I think as a pastor, especially, you have to come back and say, what is my calling? What's my job? My job is to spread the gospel. If I told you, I mean, listen, over the course of 30 years of voting, I voted for Democrats, I voted for Republicans, I voted for independents. I try to prayerfully consider each candidate and do my job. And then I walk away, and it is what it is at that point. Like, it's in the hands of God and the people at that point,
Yeah.
And I try not to get too wrapped up in it. But that's us. Now, if you're passionate about a local candidate, or if you're passionate about a candidate and you want to support them, you want to put signs in your yard, you want to go wave, to people, I get it, man.
Yeah.
That's part of America.
Yeah. And we also should be clear too, like, if you feel like you are called to be an activist for something, like, go for it. Like,
yes.
and your Christian faith may influence you in that, right?
Sure.
And so you can still do that, march, protest, support, whatever you feel your conscience calls you to do. We're not saying don't ever get involved, right? But we are saying, as a church, though, right, our main thing is to tell people about Jesus and to serve them in love the way Jesus told us to, right? It's a combination of the two things. The Great Commission, which said, therefore, go and make disciples of all nations, baptizing in the name of the Father and Son and the Holy Spirit, and teaching them to obey everything I've commanded you. It's that on the one side, which is about spreading the gospel. And then on the other side, it's the two greatest commandments: love God and love your neighbor as yourself, right? So as a church, that's what we should be about, not politics, right? As an individual, feel free to get involved in politics all you want. Just know that that's not what's going to save the world. Jesus.
Amen.
And know
honestly,
that should not stop you from loving anyone.
Right. And honestly, you want to make an impact in this world, like, contribute locally, get involved and like volunteer with these amazing nonprofits and with your church. Like, that's how we change the world. We vote, and we're passionate about the things that we're passionate about, but we don't go online and smash our neighbor because they like Pence or Kamala or whatever, like, dude, come on. We are better than this, for sure.
So I saw a meme, and it was kind of vaguely anti-religious, although not that I disagree with it necessarily, but it said, if your religion causes you to hate someone, find a new religion. And I would turn that about and say, if your politics or ideology causes you to hate someone, find some new politics, find another ideology.
Hey,
because I see that come from there just as much, if not more, than I do religion.
And that's really part of our job. We don't judge, but like, we have noticed, both of us have noticed that, I mean, it's been rough. We are almost to the finish line of this election. November 3rd, I think it's November 3rd, someday in November, that first Tuesday or whatever, we're going to vote. It's going to be over, and we're going to get back to, back to normal. Maybe not, but anyway, it's going to be over soon. And we're going to be the same people with the same neighbors, no yard signs. And we are still called to spread the gospel, to love God, love our neighbor, and to contribute and get it done. And so, like, that's the thought that, we've been thinking about. Both of us have been thinking about this So anyway, on another note, Nancy Nitsavashia says the Shell on Lake Mary Boulevard has a bad rep for scammers. And she's right. I've heard that, actually. I never used my credit or debit card in any of these after talking to the Lake Mary Police Department. They said you should never, ever, ever, ever use your card at a gas pump. You should always go in and pay, because now they got devices so small, they are going to scam your card.
There is one exception to that. I heard the same. And since I've taken these steps, I have not, after, like, I think we talked about this on some other unscripted ones, that like twice within like a 3-month period, I had, you know, someone steal my card and had to go through that rigmarole and get a new card.
That was me. That was
me. That was you. And so I got some advice too. And that also was the same advice, to go in and pay, never use the thing at the pump. But there is one exception to that. If they have the tap to pay, where you don't actually insert your card, but you just tap it, that also is apparently really, really secure. Like, yes, that's almost impossible to skim, impossible to scam. So I figured out which gas stations near me have the tap, and they don't. There's only like a couple of them, you know, and those are the ones that I always go to. In fact, there's one in particular I always go to because I know it's got that. And so,
it's just a matter of time before they figure it out, man.
Yeah, probably, you know, but
no, I will be going inside and paying for my gas. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I've had everybody that I know, like I'm the last man on the island that has not had their debit or credit card stolen yet. So I don't know. And it happened to my good friend Brian, and like they charged up a bunch on his credit card, like, you know, $3-4 grand or something, like ridiculous. Yeah. So I don't know, man. Don't do that. All right. Chris has to leave. He's got another conference call, and he runs our Zoom for us. Right. So you have a verse for the week?
No.
No. All right.
But I tell you what, let's see what Bible Gateway has to say.
Oh, that's you were gonna lie for a second, weren't you? Yes, I
thought about just looking one up real quick.
Yes, it's John 3:16, and it says, God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son.
So here's Isaiah. I don't even know what this is going to be till I read it. Isaiah 43:11-12. I am the Lord, and beside me there is no Savior. I declared and saved and proclaimed when there was no strange God among you, and you are my witnesses, declares the Lord, and I am God. So that was actually pretty relevant in light of the conversation we just had. I am the Lord, and besides me, there is no Savior, right? And so quit putting all your eggs in the basket of politics, of policies, of laws. Those things are important. Yeah, they can impact people's lives, but that's not what's going to save us. That's not what's going to save the world. There's only one thing, and that's the Lord, right?
Amen. 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 So the challenge this week is to not be a jerk. Don't be a jerk. That's the challenge. Love your neighbor, love God, love your neighbor, even when you vehemently disagree with their political beliefs. Because pretty soon this thing's going to be over, and we're going to have a president, and it might not be the one you want, but we can still make amazing things happen locally. And so that's what we're going to push forward and do. Okay. Awesome.
Amen.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, guys. This weekend, I'll be preaching on Sunday. Pastor Matt will be our online pastor. Don't forget, we have shrimp boil. We're doing it take out. So you can go to, you can get 2.5 pounds of New Orleans shrimp and sausage and corn, $40. It's the best deal. Go to hclm.org and you can pick it up Saturday. So you can still order. I think we have about 12 or 13 pounds left. Like, there's not a lot. So do that. And you go to hclm.org if you haven't done so yet, and get a meal, a great meal on Saturday. Of course, we'd rather be doing this live, but we can't this year. So we got to get rid of this 100 pounds of shrimp, fresh from Georgia. So do that. And I think that might be it. Do you have any announcements, Matt?
Nope, nothing for me. Oh, other than we should say kids church and youth group back this Sunday.
Right.
right?
Church.
So
Yep.
kids,
We're all negative. Come on back.
it's all safe. Come on back. Yeah.
Come on
So
back.
just that little blip again, just abundantly cautious. It was probably would have been fine to do it this past weekend, but just why even take the chance? So
Why take the chance?
yeah, so we're good. And so now we're overly cautious, if anything. So if we say we're come on back, then it's pretty safe. So
yeah.
All
right. All right, guys. Thank you so much. God bless. Take care. And we will see you this weekend for church. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.